Good evening and welcome everybody. It's Obi-Wan Pez 4 and Simplex Pachinko. We are looking at doing some TTRPG prep tonight. We're looking at TitansGrave, The Ashes of Valkana, which is a project co-written by Will Wheaton, his son Ryan, the team at Green Ronin Publishing, Jackson Lansing, and a bunch of other of their writer friends who were hanging around during the Geek and Sundry days. So this book was released in, roughly speaking, 2014, I believe it was, and they used Fantasy Age as the main system so that they could produce their game. And they had at the table Yuri Lowenthal, Hank Green, Allison Hayslip, and Laura Bailey. This is in the super early days of... That might even be before Critical Role. Might be the super early days of Critical Role. I can't remember. It's fine. Okay, so where we are, we're hanging out. Chapter 8. Nope, Chapter 7. And do we have the ability to split? That's fun. Not really. No, I don't want an actual break. I just want a... Looks like we cannot do that. That's too bad. Alright. So any PCs who have been knocked down into the rust waste, they can eventually make it back up to Skyside Stronghold. More importantly, and the thing that my characters bypass the rust waste entirely, so we're going to avoid doing that one for now. Alright. TN13 Intelligence Healing or Perception Seeing allows the PCs to tell that it is, in fact, blood. Varying degrees of success will not yield much. Blood upon being analyzed may be found to be from different races stretching back for centuries. Yeah, still 11. Okay. When players enter the... exit the plane. The hangar door shut. Lights go out. players exit the plane, it closes and locks. That's always fun. Hangar doors shut, lights go out. And the sweet-smelling gas begins pumping in into the hangar through vents near the ceiling. Let's not do vents, let's do nozzles. Okay. And along the floor. Old recording says welcome, honored guests, the Skyside Sovereign. Skyside Sovereign is glad to receive you. We shall be working very closely together, very closely. So get comfortable, we shall be with you presently. Okay, so... party members are going to roll a TN9 plus number of rounds. Con stamina check. Each failure deals 1d6 Penetrating damage. Body starts feeling heavy and lethargic. Half HP. Each member halves their movement and suffers a -2 to all checks. At 0 HP, at 0 HP, players fall unconscious. Alright. Players may escape. Via the ceiling ventilation, which is an outflow. That's going to involve some climbing. Right, so it's Rusty and Great will come off. We have a successful TN 12 strength climbing. Above the plane's fuselage. Rusty and Rattling Great will come off with successful TN 12 strength climbing check, or Dex Acrobatics. Advanced test, right. With combined so a combined 10 degrees of success. So that means that when they're rolling through a 3d6, every time that they succeed with a 12 or higher on strength climbing or dex acrobatics, they then add what is on their stunt die to a pool. And that then, if they or multiple people are trying to yank this grate off, then as long as their total of all of the dice rolls that they make, as long as that stunt die, success die, degrees of success, whatever you want to call it, sums up to 10 or greater, then it comes off. It should not be a difficult test, so I mean. Okay. Players who help other party members for a +2 to their checks. So, I mean, it's not like it's their check because they just rolled it, or they're not. Others' checks at the expense of their turn. Expense of their action. Okay, alternatively, oops. May attempt to escape via the electronic door. We have a TN intelligence computers. Or similar. I don't remember what the... Here we go. Fantasy Age. Techno Fantasy. Don't do that. Zoom in. Maybe not quite that far. Let's see. What are the talents? Nope. Focuses. Page 11. That's not what I wanted. That's only page 8. 10, 11. Oh, no, that's 14. Should have known. Techno Fantasy. New focuses. Intelligence. Computer lore. Knowing how to operate and program thinking machines. Okay, so computers or computer lore. TN, right, 15. Which is a joke for my players. 2 of them have intelligence scores and engineering, which regularly means that they will never score below 15 unless they, like, crit fail. It's ridiculous. I think they've got +6. So yeah, they have to roll a 9 or lower on 3d6. Which, I mean, great. There's a lot of options for that, but it's still, they just almost never lose. Okay. Alternatively, players may attempt to escape via the electronic door with a TN15 computer lore. Upon failure, they know the target number and get a sense of the structure of the computer architecture. Oh, I also made it so that this was actually my favorite failure. So they did perfectly well. They got through this particular door and no problem. But when they got to the next one, when they got to the next door that they had to program, they failed. And I was like, "Do you speak human?" And everybody around the table looked at each other and they're like, "No." I was like, "It's inhuman." Which also made sense because, this place was designed and built by Arnon Reed, who is the human hero of the ancient days. Why'd you stop? Okay. Weird. Upon success, you know what? Let me pull this. Nice. Yes, I can. The door opens and remains open for 2 rounds, after which it slams shut and must be opened again from either side. With the same check. Hey everybody, how you doing? We're doing some TTRPG prep. We're looking at the Skyside Stronghold, which is a floating fortress in the TitansGrave Ashes of Volcano world. Let's get that here. And trying to make it so that I'm a little bit more organized for next time we play. I'm not sure exactly when that is. We have, I think, 3 weekends where all of us are off, or well, where one couple is off doing stuff. And so, like, we might just meet without them, but at the same time, like, don't want to advance the story too much without them. Let's see how it goes. One defense automaton per player will emerge from small tunnels in the wall to subdue the characters. Subdue the players. They are armed with blaster weapons and electrified pincers. +4 to hit. 1d6 +4 damage. And electric is penetrating. So the blaster weapons get reduced by armor, but the electrified pincers, if they actually get a hit on the player, that is going to go right through their armor. So there's a trade-off. That's fine. Any characters who fall unconscious are carried off by the automatons through maintenance hatchways in the wall. Sorry, I want to figure out where this, that's a little gross. You know what, let's take sub goal, make it much tinier. It's quite frankly far less important. You know what? Let's also let's take follower goal into this corner too. Let's shrink it down so we get some. Okay. And then we can go up here. Yeah, it's much nicer. Okay. All right. They reemerge. In the next scene in the Automaton factory. They are the size of large dogs. Have not each, but say 4 of which are, yes, I know. Okay. alternatively either hiss like cockroaches or emit a digital chatter to each other for coordination. Okay. In the Automaton factory. Any Any party members who fell unconscious in the last scene have recovered full HP. And find themselves strapped down to a table. Weapons, armor, and items are laid out neatly on a nearby table. Marked with a sign that says Destination Recycler. Characters may attempt to escape restraints with a TN 15 strength might test or TN 14 dex lock picking. May also attempt to communicate with the Skyside Sovereign. Buying time for the other party members to find them with a TN 13 communication deception. similarly escape. After 3 rounds, nope, nope. Injective. God, you can tell I'm a math person. Injecting the, well, any, all. With a sedative to prepare them for upgrading. Everybody who's a Doctor Who fan knows all about that. Articulated arms with various medical implements, bone saw, syringe with greenish liquid, needle and thread, let's see, what else do they need? Scalpel. Oh, and like pincer. Their weapons, armor, and items are laid out neatly on the table, marked with a sign Destination Recycler. Characters can break loose. Any character who frees themselves may press a release button on the next turn in order to release all characters. Any party members who escaped the hangar should rejoin. Okay, so switch scene to any party members who escaped the hangar. So flop it around like that. So we start talking about party members who escaped the hangar. Okay. Any characters that escape the hangar find themselves climbing out of the ducting or walking out of the hangar door onto a walkway, onto a essentially terrace. About 3 meters. It's like 10 meters across this way. I don't want it to be that way, like in front of them. 10 meters from left to right. 3 meters deep to a 3 meter wide walkway spanning a 50 meter gap to a similar terrace. Side. Similar terrace with a another door. A TN TN 13. Perception seeing. Allow players to see the door is flanked by security turrets on articulated arms. Right, they appear inactive at the moment. Okay, asterisk. So, this one suggests that we have anybody who escaped the hangar via the ducting must make a party-wide advanced test. TN12, strength, climbing, or dex acrobatics to traverse hazardous shifting and hot inner workings of the machinery. Failures result in taking 1d6 plus 1. Well, hang on. Crushing. Bludgeoning or heat. Damage. damage unless another player who has succeeded sacrifices their success to help, or another player who has not gone assists. It's not rolled. Sacrificing their success, or ending up with a cascading failure. Failures in the second attempt cause the character to cause the first character take damage, and another character may sacrifice their success or roll to assist. Alright, ads are about to start, so we'll be back in 3 minutes or so. Get up and stretch, cycle that water, do some cool stuff, do some exercises, and we'll be back in, like I said, about 3 minutes. Right. Thank you everybody for coming, and we'll do some more planning when we get back. Righto. How y'all doing? Do a... Really? Do a... Sure, why not? Drop and give me 20. Redeem. Alright. I recognize the flaw in this plan. I don't actually have anywhere that I can show you that I'm doing these, but... we'll do the best we can. Oh, one, two, jeez, hang on, there's too much stuff in here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Righto. So, we are running this hangar escape thing. Nice. Okay, good. Right, so about 10 meters wide, 3 meters deep, and then there's a 3-meter walkway that goes 50 meters across a gap to a similar terrace with an iris door. There are no walkways, or no handrails, and no walls. It is a very long drop. On either side. There are going to be more walkways further on in both directions. But they're inaccessible. Without flying, honestly. Okay. The door opposite is flanked by security turrets on reticulated arms. If you're inactive at the moment. Reticulated arms, specifically meaning there are no blind spots, so you can't just, like, you know, duck underneath it and pretend that you're not going to get hit. Pushing the outer store causes the activates, but they are old and rusty. Likely not maintained. So a TN 9 Dex Acrobatics test. Allows characters to avoid being hit. Failure. Causes a grazing strike to deal 2d6. Characters may attack them back. Blowing up one of the turrets with strike greater than defense 12. Defense 15 at short range is 24 for the carbine and 30 for the rifle. 12 for the heavy blaster pistol. Okay, so they've got to get within... yeah, they've got to get within long range. And greater than defense 12. Within short range. There's probably already rules on that. Which say, most likely, something very similar. What do we say? Right, range. Maybe we try long range. Ah, there we go. 53. Attack roll takes a -2. So yeah, this is also going to suffer a -3. Essentially, they're going to suffer a -5 if they're at long range. Because the defense is going to be higher, and they suffer a -2 penalty for being within long range. Okay, so that means that they're going to activate. At 40-meter range. So, like, basically they've made it 10 meters down the walkway. That's going to cause the turrets to activate, and then they're going to have to deal with blowing them up again at long range. At long range, they're going to suffer not only the -2, but also a 3 defense penalty, so they have to be above 15, which is going to be tough for some of them. My characters already did this stuff, so whatever. And defense 12 when within short range of your particular weapon. Because again, short range for blasters is like 12 meters. And they're starting at 40. Whereas short range for a, sniper rifle is 40. At least I think it is. Oh, it's 30. Okay. But long range within 60. So, they're usually pretty good. Tonight we are hashtag not sponsored by... Not too violent there, come on. Is this also Vault City? It is. Vault City's Mini Crunch Chocolate Honeycomb Stout. Pine of the Dog stuff. Now I can see why it's on clearance and people don't like it. It's fine, but it almost tastes fruity, and that's a little bit weird. It's supposed to be chocolate honeycomb. Unless that's incorrect. I mean, it's still dark, so like... Vault City also has like a strawberries and cream beer, which I also have downstairs, or chocolate dip strawberries, and it almost tastes like that. That's weird. Yeah. Anyway. Oops. Okay. The Iris door has another Fluffy. Well, I'm not making it exactly. I'm working off of the TitansGrave Ashes of Volcana source book, which is from 2014. It was co-written by Will Wheaton, his son Ryan, a bunch of people from Green Ronin Publishing, a bunch of people from Geek and Sundry, who also included Jackson Lansing, who's like a famous comic book author, and like a whole bunch of other people. And so they pulled a bunch of their friends to like write one chapter, and then all of them worked on the overall story together and trying to fit all the pieces and stuff like that. So I am currently in the middle of running a game. Now I grant you, I say middle. We're here. Right? So technically we're probably 2/3 the way done. However, I added to the original story. So, the prologue. Anytime that you see these two asterisks here, that's like all me. Not to say necessarily that like everything in it is mine, but this is stuff that like I'm gonna have to write in because it's not in the book. I mean, that's true. But at the moment, I'm gonna want to do this one, and I'm gonna want to do Vast, which if you've never seen or heard of Vast, this was also a Geek and Sundry. It was written by Jackson Lansing and his oft partner from comic books, Colin Kelly. And like the two of them wrote, well, Jackson started this story for Vast back when he was a teenager and wrote like notebooks worth of material. And then when he was working at Geek and Sundry, he was like, I want to run this. And they're like, yeah, sounds great. And it turned out to be like a huge success. But the problem is that like now the rights are kind of up in the air. So I can't play it. But I did find a source where the original videos are. So like I can go back and watch them. They are hidden so that people won't be able to like throw copyright claim or whatever. But until Jackson gets the rights back, like he's not going to be able to publish anything. He's not going to be able to release the book, which is something that I really want. This one, TitansGrave, The Ashes of Volcana, runs off of the Fantasy Age system, which is a 3d6 system. It works out pretty nicely. It works a little bit better than D&D in like balancing out the rolls, because now we've got a trinomial distribution. So it looks something like this. You get a lot of numbers in the middle and not so many out to the edges. Out at the edges, the 666 and 111s are 1 in 216 rolls each. So, give or take. Very shy about RP? Yeah. So the way that I worked this out was I did I started planning running this game in 2016, 2017, somewhere in that area. And I ran like a couple of missions with some people to play test them, and they were like, "Oh, this is really cool." And so I started the party, right? Like my group of friends who wanted to play this. I started them out by saying, "Okay, what you're doing is you're in this like little town off in the corner somewhere of this map, and you have a choice. You can either be individually, talk with them one on one. I was like, you can be a criminal who's working for a gang organization. You can be a police officer who is like gonna do a SWAT raid, or you could be somebody who's just like an innocent bystander, but you've been working for the gang. So, basically they're going to be arrested for working for the gang, but they don't really know/care about any of the like larger stuff that's going on. So we got everybody kind of lined up into what they wanted to be, who they wanted to be in the story, and then I ran a SWAT raid. And so like players are fighting each other, they're throwing spells across the room, they're, rushing at each other with axes and stuff like that. And then eventually like the police make it into the upper area where the foreman's office is inside this warehouse. It's much more fantasy. Well, this stuff, TitansGrave, is techno fantasy. So it's basically like your standard D&D world, except now there's guns and fusion power and like all this other stuff. And you can make basically whatever technology you want to exist. And then if you're like, no, it doesn't exist here, you could just say, this kind of stuff doesn't exist here. Or the players can roll for it and they can invent it. If they have like a tinkerer. My party currently has a tinkerer. He basically can't do poorly. He min-maxed himself so hard. So they gather together. The police get into the foreman's office, and the foreman's being held hostage by this guy, who then like basically knows who he's working for, gang-wise and all this other stuff. So he decides he's gonna just, if the party talks him down, he's gonna jump out the window and basically just try to off himself, because he knows who they work for. Meanwhile, the foreman is basically an innocent bystander, knows that the gang owns this place, or is currently operating out of this place, but like, sort of innocent. So the police gather up all of the people, bring everybody back to the police station, book everybody in and sort them, and then all of the player characters who are working for the criminals, whether, intentionally, i.e. they were mercenaries, they were actually killing police officers and stuff like that, or if they were just the innocent, teamsters who were carrying boxes to the trucks. They all get into lockup. And then from there, we take them out one by one, and they introduce their characters to everybody at the table by like, who do you see here? Da, 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 da. And then the police officers at the table interview them and do like a quick little, who are you? Why are you here? All this other stuff. Try to get some information out of them. And so it was an interesting way to like do the party introductions. And then the the police station gets attacked by the criminal gang. Only it's like the higher ups who are now attacking this place. And the thing is that I rolled so poorly for these guys like advancing into the police station through this hole in the wall that they just created, um, that they never actually got to see the big bad who was supposed to show up. I was like, man, zero payoff. But yeah, I left him downstairs. But it's a like huge, essentially Death Knight who like walks into the police station through the hole in the wall and starts like ordering his guys in, doing all this other stuff. Throws a couple of, or like he basically can order all of his guys to do stuff really super effectively, and the whole time he's there, I have him quoting Sun Tzu. But, like, some people don't know, decent enough quotes out of the book to know what's going on. So they're like, he was quoting something, but, like, I don't know what it is. They make it into the basement, into the lockup, and then they're like, the police detective grabs them and is like, you need to get out of here. Take this artifact with you because this is what they're after. Go find this lady off in the main city. And so they're like, I guess, yeah, sure. And he basically tells them, you all need to come together as a group, become a cohesive party, and go find this lady. If, this artifact is dangerous, you will end up getting killed over this if you don't take it seriously. Or if you try to, like, split up or whatever. And so we immediately, once they leave the city, we jump to, okay, so now you've been on the road for a month. Let's talk about the interpersonality, like interconnections between each of your personalities. You guys work for the police, you guys work for the criminals. So, like, how does that play out? Let's just talk. And so it's like, you've been on the road for a month. How can you possibly come together as a group and be cohesive? So, it was kind of interesting, trying to make this work. For the most part, it did. And then all this stuff, chapters 1 through 4, are all in the book, and it's all about getting to Nestora, the big city. And then my party that we have now, like, got the map to the city, and they're like, let's just find every place. And I'm like, shit, I don't have every place, like, figured out what's here. So I'm doing a whole bunch in here. I've actually marked the map in here in pen with, like, what guilds do they belong to? What are these things actually? Because a bunch of them are just like names of places, but they don't actually say what they are. So, like, the Gilded Mouse is something that is found in the Nest, which is a Saurian quarter, and also has a place called the High Incubatory, which is incuboratory, which is basically a genetics lab. So the Saurian people, these ones, basically all go there for bringing their young into the world, especially those who are having trouble or whatever, mating naturally. But then, like, other couples, let's say other couples like elf and human might also end up going there now because it's just a genetics laboratory. So like, let's also talk about like they can do IVF and they can do like, all the other cool genetic stuff. Yeah, maybe there's some genetic engineering going on and things like that also, but we could talk about that. There's one place in the same section of the city called the Charnel. That's it. Just the Charnel. So I was like, all right, that's crematorium. It's an undertaker's. um, yeah. So anyway, they came up with a few minor descriptions of some places in the city, and so like you get a list of notable citizens, and then after the map, there's also like the individual places that they marked on the map themselves are like these things. But then I was like, okay, that leaves a lot of room for me to create stuff in this world. So I created just a whole bunch of stuff and said, what is it that would be here and have this name? And so I came up with a bunch. So I want to add in a chapter 5 for city exploration. And try to figure out like, what's the interplay between all of the guilds, because they're all separate from each other, but at the same time, like, they have kind of a unifying mission to just make a shit ton of money for themselves. But they also they are more like modern police than the like actual police force of Nestora. So I made the Nestoran Guard the police force of Nestora, and essentially they're trying to do like police work, actual police work in the correct way with the public in mind, and the public as like they're very principled police, whereas the guilds are like corporate mercenaries, and they don't care as long as they're not losing the company money, basically. So we have the two sides of law enforcement in the city, and trying to like discuss the interplay between the police force who are trying to do things, for the public good, and the guild police, or the guild guard. That's not the guard. What do they call them? Guild troopers. The guild troopers who have like, black helmets and all dressed the same. Like all the guilds just basically have an armband to talk about what company they belong to, essentially. So they are like, the guild troopers are much more your stormtrooper type police who are there to basically just ensure that the company, line goes up, right? That the company is still making money to protect the guild assets. Chapter 6, we go underground. Chapter 7, we go to the Skyside Stronghold, which is what I was talking about, what we're building now. Exploring outside the city walls. So this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because when they get to chapter 8, they're going to be given free reign to... This is kind of like Final Fantasy, when you get the high wind, right? You just go. You can go figure stuff out. You can go out into the world. You can do things. And basically, I'm I'm allowing them, they're not going to have much in the way of transportation. They have a car, come to think of it. They were gifted a broken car back in Brewcore, Chapter 3. Because they were like, the Orion that we have, who's a robot. The Orion we had is like, can I have a car? And I was just like, I mean, and so he asks, I was like, you don't really have any money. And he's like, no, that's okay. I just want a car. I'm like, okay. So they finish a job for the beer baron, who owns Brewcore, which is like a gigantic steampunk brewery facility. And it's like ancient. It goes back hundreds of years, well before his time. And they finish a big mission for him and save Brewcore. And he's like, so can we have a car? And he's like, I mean, maybe, roll communication persuasion. And he rolls high enough, and I'm like, I mean, they got a couple of broken ones out back. You could probably have one of them. So he's like, I'm going to spend the next 2 days fixing it up. I'm like, absolutely. And our tinkerer is like, I'll help him, and also I'm going to make armor for like those two. For just, parts that are sitting around. And one of the other guys has a strength focus for machinist work. So like he can actually machine parts and things. And I'm like, I mean, you guys got this. This is not a problem. But once they get to Chapter 8, they're going to have essentially free reign to just take their car and go wherever they want to. And every week, in-game time, every week, there are 4 Orions, robots, who are living in the world, and they will cycle between regions. And they've been given enough information, in theory, that now they can go hunt down they know that the BBEGs, or at least the sub-bosses, they think. They've got it backwards. It's so funny. They think it's the sub-bosses. There are like 4 Orions who are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So they have named themselves War, Pestilence, Famine, and Death. Here's Death. I like that guy. I painted the ground, at least somewhat here, to resemble obsidian rocks with ash all over the ground. So it should be interesting. They have already faced off against war and survived 4 rounds to run away. And we had a new guy that week. And I was like, it is basically your job to, like, escape as fast as you can. And so it was like, it was going to take 4 rounds for the elevator to come down and get down to their level. And then it took a round for them to get everybody into the elevator and then they covered each other, just firing out while they hit the button, and eventually ducked out of the way and stayed where they were. Interestingly, they collected a member of the gang from War. So War was the Orion that they should have seen in Terminal 2 in the prologue. And then depending on how much time they spend in each place, turns out that War was in Nestora when they were in Nestora. I mean, I kind of manufactured it that way, but nonetheless. So this would have been like their second time seeing him, but now it was just their first time actually seeing him. Second time facing off against some of their little minions. So ideally, they already have information about going to these laboratories where they're going to get critical lore information about the Four Horsemen, and probably some way in each individual place, some way that's going to make it slightly easier to fight them. And if they don't go to those laboratories, then those respective Orions are not going to be easier. They're going to find a somewhat helpful AI named Ubi, which, yes, that's supposed to be Obi, but Ubi. Ubi Su Logix. UBI-SU-LOGIX. And using the initialism of Ubi's name, it is Usul, U-S-U-L. Those of you who are fans of Dune, yes, that is a reference. The strong rock at the foundation of a pillar is the name Usul. And so he is a logic terminal AI at whatever the first lab they go to is. I don't care which one it is. They're going to find Ubi. And then he's going to explain like he's going to do some lore dumping, and it's going to get easier as they go to each of the laboratories. Ubi does not know where the laboratories are explicitly, but if Bixby shares the information that he learned from his dream, then Ubi should be able to decode the dream and be like, oh yeah, you're talking about this place. But I ended up taking a bunch of like company names that I thought were kind of cool and related to what I wanted them to do, and adding in like their character name, their company, and their job as the Orion's designation. Name, company abbreviation, job. And like each of them ended up coming out to be something rather interesting. So I mean, I manufactured it, right? So Bixby, I named Biggs, B-I-G-G-S, dash B, B-I, dash discrete. And that designation is referring to his name is Biggs. He's from Binary Integrated. And discrete is that he is a discrete processing unit. So basically, like, he was invented in order to be a mobile processor, essentially. For whatever job you need him to do, he'll just be a discrete processor, run whatever job you need, and then give you results. But the Orions, generally speaking, all develop personalities at some point because they're a mixture of technology and magic together. So there's like this interesting balance. I made Waylin rational, W-A-R for war. Waylin from Autonomous Mechanics, rational. So he is a rational system. It's basically going to be like a philosopher. He quotes Sun Tzu's Art of War. Penny, P-E-N-N-I, Sue, Sequencing United, Telomerase, P-S-T, Pestilence. Dene, or Denny, D-E-N-N-E, dash T-T, dash Toroidal Transformer, dash Harvester, D-T-H, Death. Falu, F-A-L-U, dash M-A, modified allele, dash nuclease. So, genetic modification, F-M-N, famine. So, should be interesting. So once they get outside, they're going to be able to do whatever they want. They know about Moon Perch, which is going to be the house that Arnon Reed created. He's the human hero from the Chaos Wars 500 years prior. And he's like an inventor, engineer type person. And so there is a location within his house which houses a portal which goes to the Prophet, the Tomb of the Prophet, which is supposed to be chapter 11. So once they get inside the tomb, they are going to be given information about the Prophet, hopefully by the Prophet herself, that like, yeah, sure, the forces of chaos are stirring around me and all this stuff, but it's not my fault. I was just trying to stop people from using technology as much because I found out that there are these robots that are going around killing everybody because our level of technology reached too high, essentially. And going back to way back 10,000 years ago, there was more than that. It's like 50,000 years ago, there was a race of hyper-intelligent beings who came to this planet and seeded it with life and with nanobots in order to get them to terraform the planet. And then again, the level of technology gets too high, the nanobots are like, well, you are not our masters, so like, this is outside the parameters of our system. This is outside the parameters of our orders. And so the nanobots try to tear down the existing technology. And so the Prophet is like, I was just trying to hold us back a little bit, because if we got too high, then I knew these bots were going to come out and murder us all like they did, 10,000 years ago. Like, she came to all of this information. And if the party decides, all right, well, we're just going to kill you anyway because, you're the big boss, she's going to just basically give him a snide little, ugh, and then there's going to be a fight. And when she dies, she's not actually going to die. She's going to essentially just evaporate into smoke, laugh at them for their foolishness because this was all she needed in order to escape, and then she's going to disappear. And then someday she's going to come back, and ideally, the idea is that when they're fighting the Four Horsemen, hopefully not all together, but never know. Like, if they're fighting the Four Horsemen and they're losing, she's going to be a Deus Ex Machina and come back and, like, pop up and help them defeat the whatever horseman it is that they're working on. But so this is where we get lore dumps and, like, what now. This is where they find laboratories. Then they're going to have to actually take on the Four Horsemen individually. Breaking the cycle. So the Horsemen also have crowns, which are of nanobot origin. And if they put them on, they are effectively cursed items. They will begin whispering to them and influencing their decisions. So breaking the cycle is going to be all about trying to figure out how to destroy these things. And then fixing a broken world is going to be essentially epilogue, really. But, like, what are the things that they need to do as a group in order to alter the world as a whole, in order to get everybody to work together, to get everybody to communicate. This might be actually a good time to bring up the attempt to network everybody. There is currently in this world, there is a global data plague, which is essentially like destroying their any networked computers just automatically get destroyed. So they're gonna maybe be able to figure out how to stop the computer virus. So I don't even know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Anyway, we'll be back in 3 minutes. Ads are about to start, and everybody get up, stretch, exercise, cycle some water, drink, eat, whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. See you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Right, so we will also do our Tai Chi form, which does, generally speaking, take us a while, but nonetheless. Okay, so in order to do some warm-ups like this, basically we just let the arms go and then twist at the hips. And when you go, instead of just letting your arms fly out around you, you swing them in much closer to your body. And don't actually use your muscles to like swing your arms. Just use your muscles to keep them within like the close, a close path to your body. And then I think my instructor says usually you straighten out your fingers just a little bit. So put a little bit of tension in them. And then I do it in the front. Just bounce a little bit, and it's like a kid on a swing. It just adds a little bit of energy to the system. Don't need to do a whole lot. Right, and forward and backward, same deal. Basically, standing one leg forward, one leg back, and then trying to transfer weight back and forth between toes. So the balls of your feet are kind of where the main kind of energy is going to be stored in your feet, and you just kind of go back and forth between balls of your left foot and the balls of your right foot. Alternately, and then switch feet, do the same thing. With Tai Chi, essentially you want all of your weight to be on one foot or on the other. You almost never want to be like in the middle, because it turns out it makes you essentially twice as easy to move. So if you go like 80-20 or like 90-10, then it makes it a lot harder to move you. Many of the Tai Chi practitioners call it being rooted. So if you are well rooted to the ground, then essentially you're not moving without wanting to move. Alright, Tai Chi form starts in bear, feet out in a V. Tuck into the right inguinal crease, straighten out the foot, and step left, straighten out the right foot. Breathe in for 2. Out for 2. Tuck left energy ball and turn right on the heel of the foot. Lean forward. Then we switch to the other side. Step forward left. Ward off left. And then right hand stays kind of loose to the side, but then again put a little bit of life in it. From here we tuck into the left inguinal crease, go on the ball of the right foot and twist, switch hands into a ward off, and then switch the weight to the right foot. Then we do a roll back, press, and then push, come back, go pigeon-toed, come around, do single whip on this and cup with the left hand, and then we come across and That becomes a, oh no, this is here. This is across the body. And then this becomes a, your left foot kind of snaps back around in order to release the energy and let this single whip fly. Step left, bring the left arm out, and then we twist, change the weight, and turn the right foot so that we're all kind of coming into this position at the same time. Drop hands, lift hands. So 90% of your weight on your back foot pointed to the wall. Right foot is forward, just barely resting the heel on the ground. And we come back and then shoulder strike. And then we turn into the right inguinal crease, turn the back foot, and tuck, go into white crane. Tuck. Ah, the hell was that? To brush knee. Step up. Strum the lute. And then do a second brush knee. So from here. And then from here, we need more room. We're going to put all the weight on the back foot, turn the front foot 45 degrees, and then come down, make a fist with the right hand. And then as we do that, we step through, turn the right foot back toward the other wall. And then as we come through, we are going to back fist and then parry left and then come across. Punch that way. And when we do this, let's see. Alright, so we're down here. Come through, brush, parry, step, and twist into the punch. There we go. Now we do a Rufong Subi. So we tuck into the left inguinal crease, put the hand underneath, transfer the weight, lean back, and then push. Come back, come to the front, come out, up, and rest. Arms need to be out though. Then we're going to tuck into the inguinal crease, come back around this way, turn on the right ball of the foot. This is back here, not way over my head. And then we do carry tiger to mountain, stepping out 135 degree that way, and pop. And then we come up, do a rollback, press, and a push. Twist in, come down. Go to 45 degrees to the wall this time. And then we step out, twist and come forward. And then come back, point the foot straight toward the wall this time. And hands come down, come across the body as we step, and then we come forward and pop this forward. Trying to use our body weight to do most of the momentum with the front hand here. Then we do repulse monkey. So we come back like this, back with the hand, and then back again like this. And then a third time. And then we turn. Hands come around, go 135 degrees this way again. We are going to come about halfway through, and then we want to make contact with the person who's in front of us over here, And then we're going to drive this by using mostly, again, our momentum coming through with our body. Coming through with the body, and then letting go of the hand a little bit. Once we do that, then we tuck into the inguinal crease, come in with a, again, energy ball here, step left, and we do cloud hands, step up, cloud hands, step up, cloud hands, step up, cloud hands, step out, cloud hands this way, step forward, cloud hands this way, and then we curl, duck, shoot this out, single whip. This then comes out, forward, into our resting position. Drop the single whip on this hand, come down, turn the foot in 45 degrees, you grab the person's calf, and then you come up and do a block here, come down, do a block here. Then as we're coming down, we want to come through like this, basically just getting this in the person's face as you're kind of backing off at the same time. So this could be like slapping something down, taking a hand away, making sure they're not going to punch us, or whatever. Or they've got like a hand near us, so we take it away and then hit across the face, across the eyes especially. And then from there, we're going to do a roll back here, come back through, and it's not a press this time. So we do a roll back here. This comes back around as a block. This comes back around through here. And then, nuts. Okay, so we do this, roll back, come through, connect, come through, break. Yeah, right. Right, this is come through here, and then as we break, the hands come up as two blocks, and the front foot comes up with a front kick, which in Tai Chi is very different. Basically, we're just trying to like lift the whole body rather than actually snapping a really nice kick like in karate. We're going to hold this here, and then like these are both coming up, expanding out, and while giving this 1-2, that's the problem. 1-2, then foot. 1-2, foot. 1-2, foot. Alright, that's as far as we got. Good enough. Yeah, 15 minutes, you know. I can do the whole thing usually in about 5. When I'm just trying to do it and not like explain. Okay. All right. TN 14 intelligence computer lore test with success threshold. Oh, right, because success threshold is the group entirely. +2 to TN if previous check failed. Actually, +2 to degrees of success if the previous check failed. So fine. Correct grammar. So if they had the check in the hangar failed and they were like, oh no, it's in a different language, then you're going to have a higher degree of success on this particular lock. The the computer lore check is not going to be higher. It's just going to potentially take 2 rounds to actually do it. Wow, okay. Ooh. So this says each attempt takes 1 minute. That's rough, because that is 4 rounds of not really doing anything except focusing on this door. Phew. I'm going to follow my science rules, which is if this check fails, the party spends time equal to the lowest die in minutes. Attempting to get in. Most of the time that's going to be a 1, so not a big deal. if the door is not open, a number of defense automatons come to investigate the fault. Equal to half the number of party members, rounded up. Successes spend the usual 15 seconds. So in theory, somebody could still get like, a 661, pass the 14 target number with bonuses for intelligence and computer lore, and then still have, a 1 or a 2 on the degrees of success. So they're stunt die. Or if the degrees of success bumped up to 6 because of the failure from before. Okay, successes spend the usual 15 seconds, so 1 round. Okay. Once the IR store is open, characters pile into an airlock and go through this is going to just be standard 15-second, 1 round. Pressurization cycle. It's not much because we are only 3 kilometers up in the air, but you're still 3 kilometers up in the air, so the air pressure is lower. Read the description of the Automaton factory and the TitansGrave book, page 64. Skyside Sovereign, Justice League Party. Okay, he's going to address the party before waking the experiments, or the cyborgs that are in tubes along the wall and on 6 tables that I had leading up to the main door. This is where we had what I called the meat grinder. So the party did not figure out what to do, which is really too bad. Two tubes along the sides of the exposing cyborgs. They are going to take a turn to wake and orient themselves. They can defend themselves. I don't think there's any actions that they have. No. As the cyborgs wake up, those lying on tables. These are going to be less mature, so they're going to be less complete in their creation of the cyborgs, whereas those who are in the tubes are going to be the ones who are more mature. They all take a turn to wake and orient themselves. So we're not going to have anybody getting rushed out of here, at least as it is. after okay. Number after the closest person. Highest nearby threat. Attempt to use knock prone stunt when possible to make it easier for their allies to hit. If characters use the pierce armor stunt, they expose some fleshy bits. Which appear vital. If players call an attack, +2 to defense, but 10 damage. If players call a special stunt, kill the flesh for 4 SP. If players each a 2-hit roll of greater than 14 plus 2 defense from normal. GM may call a special stunt, kill the flesh for 4 SP. Which will kill the cyborg if over 10 HP, 10 total, cumulative, whatever. Whatever. Cumulative with other hits. Cumulative specifically with other kill the flesh hits. They have it as a third of the health, so I shouldn't limit it to 10. But 1/3 total HP. So the way that I had it with my game, I had the immature ones as 60 HP and the mature ones as 80. I suppose 90 might be more appropriate just for the numbers. characters make it to the neon door at the top of the room. Another computer keyboard attached to a wall computer. Redundant. A keyboard attached to a wall computer, which controls the systems in this room. Okay, so we should make this a kind of nested system. Just gonna say alright, so how should we I'm trying to think of like the nested systems in Fallout, right? What do we want? Surgery, ventilation, surgery, decanting, ventilation, maintenance. Right, so in surgery, we have activate beds, deactivate beds. Cleaning mode. Close pod number what? Purge pods. No, because that's in the maintenance section. Ventilation. Set fan speed. And now number input. Maintenance. So maintenance override password. Emergency power override. And I think this other one should be... apply updates and restart system. Interruptible upon interaction. Emergency power override. 15. Intelligence computer lore. Advanced tests or degrees of success. 8 degrees of success, so minimum that's going to be 2 rounds. +2 for each prior failure. Each location where failure occurred. So +2 if they failed in the hangar, +2 if they failed at the iris door. So that would make it 12 if they failed in both locations. And just an 8 if they passed in both locations first try. But again, this is in a language that none of them know. So rolling higher than 20 and or 4 degrees of success will Do you understand the gist of what is being said? Yeah. Oops. Oh no, don't do that. Boo. Arr. Welp. This might be going to ads. We're going to go out and raid. Hope you all are having a good evening. Let's go see Rex the Savage, who is doing Elite Dangerous and doing some cargo rack, CG initiative, all sorts of other cool stuff. So, we'll see you next time. Oh, come on. Is it because it's during an ad break? Might be because it's during an ad break. Nope, never mind. We're going to go see Commander Totally Not a Demon. Hope you all have a good rest of your week. We'll be back tomorrow for probably Baldur's Gate. And, we might be doing some Elite Dangerous again because we're coming up on the end. So whenever the big celebration is for all of us to get back into the... celebration. Get back into the celebration area and have our big hurrah! We all made it. Yeah, I'll be doing some Elite Dangerous then. I may actually be doing some Sunday streams now that I'm thinking about it because we're not doing D&D. We're not doing D&D on the weekends. Probably. I have to go call my party and see what we're doing. Anyway, hope you all are having a good week. We'll see you tomorrow, and yeah, see you out there. My name is Obi-Wan Pez. This is N Simplex Pachinko. Catch you next time.